3,500 feet. As high as the expectations within LaVell Edwards Stadium on this extremely unique football season, the 100th here at BYU. Tonight, the third meeting all time between Kansas and BYU. The Cougars coming in undefeated at 9-0. Kalani Sitake, the orchestrator of this team, in fifth time in program history that they've started at 9-0, the second time under Sitake. Meanwhile, his counterpart tonight, Coach Leipold, on the other side of the field. His team coming off maybe their best game of the season, an upset win against a top-ranked opponent, Iowa State, a season ago. And Jalen Daniels, the quarterback for the Jayhawks, ready to spin tonight. BYU winning the toss, deferring to the second half. That means that the Jayhawks will start with the football first. I'm Mark Jones alongside Roddy Jones, Quint Kessenich down in the field. As the college football season hits the midway point of November in a very pivotal and critical week here, as always, in the Big 12. Some interesting and intriguing happenings already today have developed in the conference. From the 3-yard line, it's Trevor Wilson, and he's going to be stopped up short of the 20, right around the 15-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 there for Jalen Daniels and the Jayhawks offense. Mark Jones alongside Roddy Jones. Quint Kessenich down in the field. Roddy, Kansas heads the ball first. Jalen Daniels, one of the most exciting quarterbacks in this conference.
He is, and when he's at his best, it looks incredible. He's got incredible athletic ability and a great arm. The thing is, turnovers were a problem with him early in the season. He has rectified that, and that is why this Kansas team feels like they've got a great shot here tonight.
Don't be fooled or deceived by their 3-6 record. They're going to keep it on the grind with Devin Neal, the school's all-time leading rusher, and a nice gain of about 8 yards on the play. Neal eclipsed the school rushing record a week ago on his first carry against Iowa State.
Official timeout for an injury to an offensive player.
Looks like Logan Brown, the starting right tackle, shaken up on that opening play, an 8-yard run by Devin Neal. Junior out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. A vital part of their prolific running game.
It's good to see him walking off. This is a Kansas team that lost their left tackle, Bryce Cabledew, in last week's game. He was probable to start in this one, did start on that left side, but some injuries on that offensive line, particularly the tackle position, had them a little concerned. Now Cabledew will flip over to right tackle, and Calvin Clements will take that left tackle spot.
2nd and 2 coming up. Devin Neal, a big part of this Kansas program since signing 4 years ago, a native of Lawrence. Lining up in the backfield. They keep it on the ground again. This is going to be Highshaw Jr., and he's going to be stopped up about a yard shy of the first down. His forward progress will give him about a yard gain. Taggart, Tanner making the stop on the play. And a wall.
That was a really nice play by the outside linebacker, Isaiah Glasker, who looked like he was too far away to make a play on that, but ends up getting an arm. And Kansas has been one of the best third down teams in the entire country. 4th in the country, converting 51.8% of their third downs. A lot of that is because of that running game and the excellent running back, Devin Neal.
Neal, the single back. He gets the call and picks up the first down with about 3 yards to spare. Brought down by Crew Wakely. Jalen Daniels coming into the game tonight, completing 56% of his passes, 13 touchdowns versus 9 interceptions. Also a threat to run the football.
He is, and of those 9 interceptions, 8 of them came in the first 5 games. and they came in bunches, but he has been much better taking care of the football here lately.
A low snap that bounces back to Daniels. Has a man downfield, caught and complete at about the 42-yard line. Quentin Skinner, who had a huge week last week in their upset win against the Cyclones, picks up the first down, a gain of 29.
This BYU crowd is a little upset that they didn't get an offensive pass interference, and I think they agree. It's a great job by Jalen Daniels of being able to field this, but watch the push. That is a massive push by Quentin Skinner on Mark Collins. The fans don't like it, and I agree. That should have been a push-off offensive pass interference, but it turns into a big play for Kansas.
All that from a low snap. And they are going to blow this play dead.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field is a completed catch.
It can't be under review for a PI penalty, just whether he was in bounds.
Correct, yeah. So what they're going to look at is if he had firm control with the foot in bounds.
There's 1 foot in, has the ball.
All right.
Looks like he's got control of it there.
The question is going to be that left foot. Is the toe on the line? And no, I think there's space there.
It almost appeared as if his right foot had touched the turf behind him as well.
I think our officials on the field nailed that one.
So wait for the call. Under the lights here at LaVell Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. It's the third meeting all time between the picture-perfect 9-0 BYU Cougars and the Kansas Jayhawks.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
Kansas just picked up 29 yards on a catch there that was ruled complete. Here's the play. Jalen Daniels slings it, and Quentin Skinner kept that left foot in bounds and had control of the football through the catch. So it's first down at the BYU 43-yard line on this, the opening drive of the football game for Kansas. BYU won the toss, deferred to the second half. Kansas with the football. Mark Jones alongside Roddy Jones, Quint Kesnick down to the field. On the sweep, got a good block. That's Morrison. And Morrison with a healthy 8-yard gain on the play. Tyler Batty, one of the BYU stars defensively, making the stop on the play. Lance Leipold, the head coach for Kansas. His team with a very deceiving 3-6 record, right, Roddy?
This might be the best 3-6 team in the country. 5 one-score losses, leads in the fourth quarter of each one of their games, with the exception of one. They just have not made the plays when it's come down to it.
Pass complete to Neal. The running back split out as a receiver down to the 30-yard line. Kalani Sitake. This is the second time that the Cougars have started 9-0 under his tutelage. And around these parts, they are awakening echoes and images of that national championship year in 1984.
It's been a magical season, and it's interesting to look back to that 84 season and see some of the same things that are said about this BYU team. Close wins, schedule not the toughest, but it doesn't matter if you win all your games.
Daniels keeps it himself and got down to the 25-yard line, sets up a 2nd down and 5. Taggart making the stop on the play, a gain of 5. Busy and pivotal night and day in the Big 12. Here's what it looks like. BYU at 6-0 in conference play. Boy, you can't say enough about the great coaching job by Deion Sanders this year. The Buffaloes at 6-1. Arizona State with a win as well. They improved to 5-2. Coach Dillingham also doing an exceptional job on the sidelines. Daniels on the slant, complete. Down to the 15-yard line. That's Lawrence Arnold. Picked up 10 yards on the play, and they move the chains again in the red zone.
This has been an efficient, methodical drive from Kansas. You had the big play to Quentin Skinner, but outside of that, They've run the ball well, and Jalen Daniels has been able to find receivers in the intermediate range to help move them down the field.
Neal in the backfield again on 1st and 10. Neal cuts it back, puts his hat down, and earns 2 hard yards at the end of that run to about the 7-yard line. Harrison Taggart again making the stop on the 7-yard gain. An impressive opening drive here for Kansas to start the football game. Coming off their biggest win of the season against Iowa State last week. Look at how proficient they've been in the red zone.
They've been awesome. 25 touchdowns in 31 tries. In conference play, 17 of 20 scoring touchdowns when they get in the red zone.
On 2nd and 3. Neal again stays on his feet. Touchdown, Kansas. They run it right between the tackles and play some classic smash ball. The D train arriving on time for the Jayhawks. And they take an early lead. That's his 11th rushing touchdown of the season, the 44th of his illustrious career at Kansas. Boy, Roddy, that was an impressive 10-play drive.
Yes, it was.
$7-0 lead for the Jayhawks. Hey, they still have a chance of becoming bowl eligible if they can win out. We'll be back with more on the other side on just how they scored on that play. You're watching ESPN College Football presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. Folks, this is the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. And what a start to this football game for the Kansas Jayhawks, looking for their 4th win of the season. That guy right there, Keelan Marion, has already returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this year. One of them coming last week in their win against Utah. It was a pivotal one because it took a while for the Cougar offense to get going, but this one will come out to the 25-yard line, 1st down and 10. Roddy, take us back to that previous touchdown play and how they were able to score.
Well, it's pretty easy. Jalen Daniels and the threat of his running makes you play 11-on-11 football. The only thing is BYU only had 10 players on the field, so that makes it even more difficult. They hand it off to Devin Neal. He gets a couple of nice blocks. They have an opportunity to tackle him short of the end zone, but one of the best backs in the country would not be denied, and he's able to score. It looked like Kansas subbed for a bigger personnel package, and BYU got confused and couldn't match it.
1st down and 10 for quarterback Jake Retzlaff. 6'1" redshirt junior from Corona, California. Gonna hand it off to his big burly back, L.J. Martin. J.B. Brown makes the tackle on the play. There's a look at Retzlaff and his numbers on the season. He's completing 58% of his passes. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns against 7 picks. But more than anything, this is a young man that has a perfectly balanced temperament. He has a chip on both shoulders.
Maybe a bag of potato chips on both shoulders. Guy that had 0 offers coming out of high school, went to 2 separate junior colleges before making his way to BYU. And man, does he carry that with him in the best way.
On 2nd and 10, slings it. It's going to be caught for the 1st down by Darius Lassiter. 13-yard pickup and a 1st down.
It's not a perfect throw, but when you have the level of skill that they do at the receiver positions, it doesn't matter. Gives Darius Lassiter a chance. He goes down and catches it. And between Darius Lassiter, Chase Roberts, Keelan Marion, this is an explosive group that has really good ball skills and is able, with a quarterback to deliver it, to really hurt you down the field.
Remember last year in this game, Darius played against his brother, Kwame Lassiter. On the RPO, he's going to be sacked back at the 35-yard line. Good pressure up front by Dean Miller, who was the first one to get there for Kansas. Sets up 2nd down and 13.
Miller, an incredibly active player. You're going to see him towards the top. Just works off of a block. That's the right tackle, Caleb Etienne, who is flipped over from his usual left tackle position. This BYU offensive line, Braden Keim is out today. Isaiah Jada has moved to that left tackle spot. Etienne slides to the right where he played a year ago, but gave up a sack.
2nd and 13. Retzloff into the boundary, pass complete at the 39-yard line to Lassiter again. Stopped by Taylor Davis. A 4-yard pickup sets up a 3rd down. And here's what's at stake for the Cougars today. Trying to remain undefeated and improve to 10-0. The Big 12 title, potentially. The college football playoff, potentially. Remember 1984, this school went undefeated on its way to a national championship.
It's a BYU team this year that has struggled mightily on 3rd downs. 123rd in the country, only converting 32%.
3rd down and 9. Retzloff taking a shot deep. And he threw it the other way, or at least the receiver, Marion, broke the other way, and they'll have to bring on the punt unit. Mello Dotson back there in coverage for Kansas. Mello Dotson and Kobe Bryant, 2 of the better corners in the Big 12 Conference. Those 2 between them have a good number of passes broken up. Dotson has 1 interception on the season, and Bryant has 4. Luke Grimm back for this punt. Sam Vanderhaar standing at his own 25. Nose of the football down, and end of over-end kick. And a fair catch called to the 17-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from there after that 44-yard punt. Jalen Daniels at the reins of the offense for the Jayhawks for the 2nd time when we return.
ESPN College Football is presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 19 hotel brands, 1 loyalty program. Download the app.
The majestic bulging biceps of the Wasatch Front Mountains there in the backdrop here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium on an extremely pleasant evening for college football. Let's go down to Q for more.
Well, it's 32 degrees right now. Yesterday was a gorgeous day, Mark, but the clouds rolled in, and overnight there was precipitation, including some snow this morning. The field is wet, and you see all sorts of smudging on the field. It'll be interesting now as the temperature dips below freezing how slippery the surface gets. But it's a mess. It looks like an elementary school art project.
Oh, hope they get an A on the field. Neal, good receiver out of the backfield across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Brought down by Glasgow. Look at Neal's pants. He's got some of that blue paint on there. That's just what Q was talking about. And his jersey top, too.
Well, the blue paint's only in a few areas. One of them's the middle of the field, but he got that from being in the end zone. So he will take all the blue paint that there is.
Roll around in that thing a few more times if he wants to. High shot in the backfield. 2nd down and 6 for Kansas. On the reverse, but they're able to string it out. Grimm had nowhere to go. Let's check in with the studio. All right, Matt, a loss of 1 on that previous play. 3rd and 7 coming up.
These are the situations that BYU has to get off the field. Kansas typically can get in 3rd and shorts, but in a 3rd and long, you have to get off the field. Watch 11, Luke Grimm. That's who he likes to go to.
1-on-1 down the sidelines, incomplete. Broken up nicely by Bamba. Lawrence Arnold, the intended receiver. There's a look at Maury Bamba. Able to get his hand up, and we have an injured Kansas player down in the field again. For the 2nd time tonight.
Official timeout and the injured offensive player.
That's Arnold, who the pass was intended for a moment ago. Let's take another look and see if we can figure out what happened.
Looks like he just lands hard. Quint talked about the fact that as the temperature drops, the field could start to get colder and get a little bit harder.
Right. Looked like his head might have hit the turf at a high velocity. Lawrence Arnold on the season, one of their leading receivers, has over 318 yards on 23 catches and a touchdown. And good to see the young man get up and attempt to walk off here. Pretty imposing target at 6'3". They've got some long and lanky receivers on that Kansas receiving room. Skinner's 6'5", Arnold is 6'3". Emilion is over 6 foot as well. Lockett at 6'2".
Walking very gingerly. As you mentioned, opposing figures, the third leading receiver this year.
If you're BYU, defensively, great that they're able to get off the field, which is one of the themes for them this year, right?
Yeah, and the key there is they kept Kansas out of 3rd and short. They got them into a 3rd and 7, and were able to get off the field because of it. BYU's going to have to win 1st and 2nd down so they can get to 3rd downs where Kansas can't have it both ways through the run and the pass.
Kevin Graves punting. The Australian going to get set at about his own 6-yard line. Does every punter come from the Australian Kicking Academy? I'm just curious.
Seems like the good ones do.
They can boom that thing. And some good directional kicking, you would think, because they've got that good kick return unit back there, led by Marion, but unable to get a chance to return that punt. Cougars with the football in pretty good starting field position on this 2nd drive when we come back to Provo. All right, thanks a lot, Matt. Back here, BYU football, 1st and 10 from their own 43-yard line. Roberts in motion, now sets. High snap for Retzloff. Clean pocket, slings it on the post. Got a man and overshot his receiver, Lassiter. He had 2 steps on his defender, Mello Dotson. Let's take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Carfax. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Talk about this BYU offense. Chase Roberts is their leading receiver, and he is a high percentage catch. When they target him, he catches the ball 75% of the time. And on the other side, it's going to be Mello Dotson, a guy who was in coverage on that play. These 2 corners are excellent. Mello Dotson on one side, Kobe Bryant on the other. Either one of those guys could have been one of the impact players.
Toss into the wide side of the field. Martin picks up the 1st down. Got a good block, and J.B. Brown pushed him out of bounds for the Jayhawks. L.J. Martin, a very punishing runner, breaks a lot of tackles. 12-yard gain that time.
This BYU team is going to want to get the ball on the perimeter in a lot of different ways, but getting L.J. Martin on the perimeter is always a good idea. The little token fake holds the defensive end so that you can pitch it out. He gets a nice block by Tasse out front, the tight end. L.J. Martin has a big pickup.
From the 45. Retzloff into the boundary. Pass complete, but nowhere to go. Great tackle by Taylor Davis coming up from his safety spot on Tasse. Matava Tasse made the catch, but nowhere to go. That secondary making a nice play, setting up a 2nd down and 3.
Tried for a little tight end slip screen, but the pressure forced it to be a little ahead of schedule, and Taylor Davis was all over it.
Second and 13. will counter. This is Martin again. Got rocked about 3 yards shy of the first down by Taylor Davis. In on another stop. An 11-yard gain on the play. Hey, Tuesday, we'll have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys breaking it down like a fraction, top to bottom. Have coaches' reactions as well as live interviews with committee chairman Ward Manuel. In Michigan AD, they'll also project the 12-team field, 7 Eastern on ESPN in the app. 3rd down and 2 coming up. Martin in the backfield, the only back. He'll get the call, picks up the first down. A gaping hole up front. Nice surge by that BYU offensive line. And the ball all the way down to the 30 on the 7-yard pickup.
It feels like they caught Kansas in a slant, and you're going to see LJ Martin just cut right back behind the pursuit of Kansas. It's a nice job by the BYU offensive line washing everything down so the running back has a clear cut to the backside and able to get the first down.
Under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Robert split wide to the bottom of your screen. They're going to run it again. Rapati upended, went airborne. Got chopped down by J.B. Brown.
J.B. Brown comes humming in there like a missile, going for the legs. Rapati has to jump over Kobe Bryant, who's avoiding the block of L.J. Martin.
He went breakdancing. Wow.
Unintentionally.
Yes. 2nd down and 3 after the 7-yard pickup. From the 24, they run it into the boundary. Moa still on his feet, picks up the first down at the 12-yard line. So the Cougars, Roddy, rolling up their sleeves and just muscling up front.
30 personnel, 3 backs, and watch the block. You get a block here and then a block there by the 2 running backs. And right behind it goes Moa. But the blocks by Rapati and L.J. Martin were phenomenal, and that type of grittiness, that type of toughness by running backs, you love to see it blocking for another guy in that room.
That was one of the lessons that BYU took away from last year's loss in Lawrence against Kansas. Being more physical going into the Big 12. Another physical run by Rapati. Picks up about 4. Caleb Taylor making the stop on the play. A 3-yard gain. And time winding down in the opening 15 minutes here. Under the lights at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. BYU trying to remain undefeated at 9-0. The first quarter's in the books. And right now, Jake Retzloff in the shadows of the goalposts of the opponent, looking to punch it in when we come back on the other side of this break. And welcome back, everyone, to Lavelle Edwards Stadium for the start of the second quarter. BYU in the red zone, threatening to score, trailing 7-0. Been an impressive drive by the Cougars, especially with respect to their ground game. L.J. Martin beside quarterback Jake Retzloff. Retzloff keeps it himself, and he cannot outrun the defender on that play. Forced him out of bounds. It was O.J. Burrows.
I think Jake Retzloff, if that was a true read, which it looked like it was, I think he kind of missed the read. You had the defensive end playing in between and sort of took a step in, but I don't think he could have gotten to L.J. Martin. And if he hands the ball off, they might score, but it sets up now a 3rd and 8.
10th play of the drive coming up. Third down and 8.
Got to watch out for the mismatch as Keanu Hill, converted tight end, or converted receiver, now a tight end. Big mismatch down here.
Retzloff blitz coming. Fires high, incomplete. And the Jayhawk defense gets a stop, and Retzloff took a hit. They heated him up. Marvin Grant. Let's take another look.
He sure did. Free runner from the outside. Kind of gets hit in the chest from the front, gets hit on the back as well.
And that means the field goal unit's going to come in, led by Will Ferrin, who's having a spectacular year. 17 of 20 on the season. This one coming from 28 yards out.
Delay game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So they'll move it back 5 yards. It'll be a 33-yard field goal attempt. Okay, we got more whistles.
There's an extra football on the field. Not sure how that got there.
Hey, beats throwing tortillas on the field, right?
A little bit tougher to.
With all due respect,
a little tougher to stick a football down your pants like Travis Hunter did with the tortilla.
Oh, there's a punchline there. 33-yard field goal is good. And the Cougars are on the board with 14-11 to go. Just getting underway here in the second quarter. A moment ago, Q caught up with Coach Leipold.
Coach, what do you think the single key development of that first quarter was?
Well, I think we got a big play on the pass play with the Skinner early and got Devin off on some good runs, been able to mix it up a little bit. That was a good first series for us. Right now, we're not fitting the run very well. We got to set the edges a little better and slow this thing down for them on offense.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, they're going to have the ball in a moment. And when you talk about the job that he has done at Kansas, boy, what a turnaround over the last several years. Looking to go to their 4th consecutive bowl game. If they become bowl eligible, they've got a little bit of an uphill climb. They need to win out to get those 6 wins to qualify. But you think about him on the sidelines and Neal in the backfield. You know, Neal committed to the old regime led by Les Miles. When they were dismissed, Neal said, you know what, I'm a hometown guy. I feel like I can have a great impact on turning the program around. And boy, had they ever. 9 wins a season ago. And Neal at the time had not seen a lot of winning from Kansas.
Oh,
that's a leap of faith.
Part of the reason this season's been so disappointing for Kansas is that there were expectations, something that there weren't really much of prior to Lance Leipold.
Remember a year ago, Kansas came out and right from the opening kick were much more physical, and well, they chose violence. Second play of the game, Kobe Bryant knocked some teeth and fillings loose and scooped and scored it. Martin came back with a touchdown for the Cougars, but boy, Daniels was on his game and on their way to a 38-27 win. And it's something that the Cougars as a team en masse have talked about, getting a little bit of redemption here tonight. Nice cut inside by Neal. Picks up about 5. Let's go to Q for more.
That was an inauspicious debut for BYU in the Big 12 last September, their first league game on the year. They ended up losing their last 5 games and finishing 2-7 in conference. Flipped the switch forward to this season, 2024. A remarkable turnaround, 6-0 in conference.
And much more physical, as you pointed out. 2nd and 5. 3 receivers out to the top of the screen. They come into the boundary. Pass incomplete at the 37-yard line for Jared Casey. Broken up and covered well by Jack Kelly, so it sets up a 3rd down and 5. Roddy, what do you think here in terms of a play call if you're Kansas?
I think you're going to try and get Jalen Daniels in a situation where BYU brings pressure. He's got an escape route, so possibly a rollout. But Luke Grimm is the go-to guy. 70 targets on the season, 40 receptions, almost 20 more than the next closest. I'd expect him to be looking towards number 11.
Daniels, ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Cougars got a hand up, and that's the 2nd consecutive 3 and out for Kansas.
This is a really tall BYU defensive line. John Nelson gets his hand up at 6'4". Jalen Daniels is listed at 6 foot. Probably a little bit shorter than that, but the 6'4" Nelson gets that big paw up in the air and bats it down. But across the front, they go 6'4" with Nelson, 6'5" with Mangelson, 6'5" with Tyler Batty.
Sounds like a good front court for a hoop team. Fair catch called at the 32-yard line by Parker Kingston. 38-yard punt, nothing on the return. Cougars with the football when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. A moment ago, pregame, we had Devin Neal mic'd up for sound.
This never gets old right here.
No, every time.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do without me next year?
I don't know. Maybe perish.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling lean as hell. I'm at like 12% body fat. Like, I
love that.
Hey, this is crazy. I don't know what they were saying. I had my headphones on, but they were screaming at me down there.
They say all positive things.
Okay.
They showing love. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I think that's more motivational for you to put it than just discussing it.
They were saying positive things? Is that what he said? Did I hear that correctly? Because I didn't have headphones on.
Well, the enthusiasm and the time that this student section showed up was impressive. But how about killing the opposing team with kindness?
Yes.
Devin Neal, one of the best running backs in the entire country.
Don't go for the pump fake.
Right.
What about 12% body fat? Is that about normal for football players? What'd you play at?
I don't know what my body fat was. We weren't as in tune to that.
Okay.
A lot more McDonald's when I played.
Lassiter with the catch in traffic. Darius Lassiter has made several catches and been targeted several times. That one good for 9 yards.
Starting off this drive with a couple of quick passes. On the first one, Keelan Marion, Kansas brought a blitz from the field. They throw a little bubble into that blitz. We're able to get a big pickup. That time, spitting the ball out quick to Lassiter. He's got BYU near midfield after a couple plays.
First down and 10. Lassiter in motion, then sets. Retzloff got rid of it quickly, incomplete. You know, with those corners, Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson, what impact does it have, Roddy, in terms of what area of the field that BYU works?
Well, BYU told us, their offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick said that they were going to try and work a lot of the middle of the field. Some of that because of those corners, and some of it because that's how their offense operates best. But you have to be cognizant when you're taking your shots down the field of exactly where those corners are, because both of them have tremendous ball skills.
Retzloff going to keep it on the ground. L.J. Martin. Man, he put a defender on his back. It was Kobe Bryant. I don't know if Kobe Bryant paid the fare, but he went for a free ride.
Well, one of the most impressive things is the way that these receivers block. You get Darius Lassiter on a little counter action, coming around, throwing a block on the perimeter, getting up the field. And then L.J. Martin, as you said, punishing defenders down the field. Come on, big fella, I'll take you. Kobe Bryant, as you said, might get caught for not paying the bus fare.
Right. First down and 10. 11-yard pickup. And keep it on the ground again between the tackles. Martin picked up about 3 on the play. Two stalwarts defensively for Kansas, Dotson and Kobe Bryant, a couple of 4-year starters, a rarity in college football these days, Roddy.
Typically, especially if you're not at a, quote, blue blood football program, to have guys that start 4 years is tough.
Right.
Because other teams start to look at your 2 excellent corners and think, hey, if we can get those guys a little bit more in NIL money, maybe we can pick them off. Or they decide to go pro early. These 2 guys have played a lot of football for the Kansas Jayhawks.
On 2nd and 7, play action, Retzloff. Complete into the boundary. That's going to be a catch and run by Rapati, his back. Pushed out of bounds by Berryhill Jr. Pick up a 4 on the play. Setting up a 3rd down coming up, and About 3 to go.
This is an area of the field where BYU probably in 4-down territory on a night like this, slightly above freezing. I wonder how far they would test the leg of Will Farron. But on a 3rd and short, would not be surprised they kept it on the ground. And if they don't get it, potentially go for it on 4th down.
Kingston in motion on the sweep. Couldn't turn it up in time and then finally tried. Let's see where they spot it. Wow, they're going to give him a favorable spot for the 1st down. Gain of 3. Boy, Kingston really had the turbo kick in there.
Just barely got past Mello Dotson, who tried to go inside the block, almost got there, and then, I don't know.
He got a favorable spot.
Yeah, it's a very
like
favorable
I said,
spot. So it's where the ball, crosses the sideline.
And they're not going to stop play to review that one.
I would imagine they.
Or are they?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Previous play is under further review. Going on the field as the line to gain was made.
They're going to take a look. And we're going to come back with our rules analyst, Matt Austin, on the other side of this break.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Okay, you heard the decision. We're going to bring in our rules analyst, Matt Austin. What'd you think of this call, Matt?
Well, I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. Roddy's right. It's where the ball crosses the sideline as the runner strides across. To me, it looked like it was pretty clear. It should have been about the 31-yard line. Without a shot straight overhead looking down, I guess it's not possible to get the exact spot, but I sure think this was short.
I do too. I mean, and here's a shot right down the line. We saw that. And you can't tell where he goes out of bounds there. But I mean,
the 1st down marker's at the 30, and he was not.
He may not have a perfect spot, but I mean, he was definitely short.
Yeah.
Ultimately, though, it's 1st down BYU.
9 minutes to go in the opening half. Roberts on the play fake. Downfield, wide open. Caught. Touchdown, Cougars. Rapati. Great execution here, Roddy.
Tremendous, and a good job by Rapati, slipping inside the defender up the sideline, bringing in the pass, and then getting in the end zone. Taiwan Berryhill was on the coverage, the linebacker. Rapati slips inside. Berryhill looking in the backfield because of that fake to Chase Roberts. Touchdown BYU.
And they go up by a field goal. Rapati with his 2nd career touchdown. And BYU leads it 10-3. Retzlaff with his 19th touchdown pass this season. And Kalani Sitake, yeah, he's amped. Got his little swag strut on the sidelines. And Aaron Roderick, stoic as always. You talk about a coach that has positive vibrations, high vibrations into the atmosphere. Yeah, he was hitting the Dougie a little bit. Thought I saw him do a little sea walk before that too, but Coach Kalani Sitake is a guy that really sets the tenor for this program, and he likes to say that we're a program based on faith and family and love, and it really emanates from him when you get a chance to sit down with him. And it's, of course, a faith-based institution, BYU, and boy, they've got a wonderful head coach.
You can tell that he's a leader that is dedicated to constant learning, constant search of improving. I mentioned to us that in this new era with these players, sometimes you have to let go and let them make decisions. You can't have the overwhelming ego that prevents you from seeing the bigger picture. Kalani Sitake, one of the best leaders of young men in the entire country.
Hey, his playlist is stuck in the 80s and 90s like ours. A lot of boys to men, so yeah, I'm down with him. Kansas has only had 8 yards of offense since its opening drive. This is going to be Trevor Wilson Cut it up north-south, picked up about 4 yards. Glasgow makes the tackle on the play. This group of linebackers for the Cougars, Glasgow, Taggart, and Kelly, they believe might be the best group of linebackers in the Big 12 Conference. Roddy, your thoughts?
They are really talented. Taggart's all over the place. Glasgow is explosive and a playmaker, and Jack Kelly is an NFL prospect, no doubt about it. They are all over the field making plays. The thing is, Devin Neal has only touched the ball one time since that first drive. Not in the game now.
We're on a speed option. Daniels keeps it himself. Great cutback, still on his feet, and lunges forward to the 40-yard line. Picks up the first down. That's the extra running threat that he provides. 11-yard gain.
He just does a great job of seeing that cutback. Freeze it here, guys. You can see the eyes. He sees it as well. Is able to cut back against the grain. Makes the linebackers miss. That's how dangerous he can be with the ball in his hands.
Young man that was committed to Middle Tennessee State his senior year of high school. Kansas came calling and then flipped. Play fake, has a man. It's caught downfield by Luke Grimm, his go-to receivers.
What a throw, because Jack Kelly is running under this route, so Jalen Daniels has to make sure he gets it over the linebacker who's pursuing and down before the sideline. Doing this in the cold, not easy, putting Luke Grimm right on the stripes there on the edge.
Fires another dart complete to Jarrett Casey. The burly tight end rolls forward for a couple of more yards after contact. Picked up about 7 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3. We say Jalen Daniels, not to be confused with the guy that's with the Washington Commanders right now.
I'll tell you, when both of them were in college, it was hard not to mix those two up. But when you talk about skill sets, there are obvious similarities with their mobility, but the style of play much different. Jalen Daniels starting to play a lot more like the guy that we saw a few years ago here recently.
And they switch to Devin Neal for the direct snap on the Wildcat. Nice little bit of deception by Kansas. Miles Hall making the tackle on the play. A busy day, a pivotal day in the Big 12 Conference as we take a look at some of the results. Cincinnati, Iowa State. Cyclones won that one, bouncing back from last week. Boy, Colorado put up 49 points on the #1 defense in the Big 12. And Deion Sanders might be the coach of the year this year.
He very well may be. Kalani Sitake certainly in the running as well. But Kansas State going down at Arizona State certainly clears the way a little bit for Colorado as well.
3rd and short. And there's a flag down.
Hard to snap, false start. Offense. Number 0, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
As Kansas moves from left to right, they get closer and closer to the BYU student body. And they were here an hour and a half before kick. They're standing on their feet, and it gets loud. It's like walking into a wave of noise.
Nowhere to go. Neal had nowhere to go. Batty and Glasgow there to greet him. We were just talking about the fact that Neal hadn't touched the football in a while, Roddy, and they were waiting on him that time. Batty, the leader of that defensive front. 4th down coming up.
I mean, think of how big that false start penalty caused by that BYU student section was. Kansas was in a 3rd and short. They got bumped back to a 3rd and 6.
They're going to go for it here.
And they're leaving the offense on the field.
They're 7 of 11 on the season on 4th downs. Daniels has a man, got his go-to receiver for the 1st down, and goal to go. Grimm working against Maury Bamba. And Jalen Daniels was pristine and precise here.
It's just a little flag route by Luke Grimm, and they turn him wide open. No one goes with the #1 receiver for the Kansas Jayhawks. Jalen Daniels sees it, and they get a big conversion on 4th down.
1st and goal coming up. 27-yard pickup on that last play. Daniels on the quarterback draw. It's a race, and that time he didn't win it. No gain on the play. Jack Kelly chopped him down right at the line of scrimmage. Former defensive end at Weber State, transferred. Great relationships with the coaching staff at BYU. So it was an easy move down the highway a little bit from Ogden, Utah. 2nd and goal. Daniels stops short at about the 2-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. Looked like he was laying on top of a bunch of bodies.
Cougars stop short of the goal line.
They're going to spot it at the 2, setting up 3rd and goal, a 4-yard pickup. Interesting formation. They split Devin Neal all the way out as a receiver.
Yeah, they did. Had another back in the backfield, and then Jalen Daniels ends up scrambling. I would imagine this is Devin Neal territory. Yeah. One of the best backs in the country. You've got 2 downs to get the next 3 yards.
10th play of the drive coming up.
Play game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Quint never lied.
No,
it's noisy down there.
Well, Lance Leipold was down on about the 5-yard line trying to get a timeout. I would imagine that the officials were having a tough time hearing him yell that he wanted that timeout. It was not granted, and now Kansas backed up.
Quint's right next to Coach Leipold.
He was not clocking 20 miles an hour on the GPS, and he needed to, because you can't hear yourself think down here.
I know that slow motion cue that we're looking at right now, but yeah, that's definitely not 20 miles per hour. Here we go. 3rd and goal. Cure in motion, and they're going to blow it down again, and we hit the 2-minute timeout.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
3rd and goal coming up. Time to contemplate the next move. Back in a minute. Welcome back, everyone, to the Big 12 after party. Coming up on the Lexus halftime. Georgia taking down the Vols. Boy, Travis Hunter shines for the Buffaloes in their win today. And Oregon holds off Wisconsin. Hunter with a touchdown and a pick. And brilliant play once again. 3rd and goal. Daniels with a clean pocket. Now flushed. Incomplete at the 10-yard line for Devin Neal, who juggled it. So 4th down coming up. And yeah, in comes the field goal unit, right?
Yeah, our ESPN analytics said it would recommend a go in 4th and 6 or less. I felt like it might be a little closer than that. Lance Leipold to make a decision, but with a no gain, you go ahead and kick it, try and take the points.
So in comes Allen. 7-9 on the season, his longest to 47. This one coming from 25. Snap got down good, and we're tied at 10 apiece, folks. Kansas looking for its 4th win of the season. Hey, kickoff week 11, NFL Sunday with the Countdown crew. Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. Our week 11 Monday night football game will be in Dallas, the Lone Star State game between the Texans and the Cowboys, 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes, with Peyton and Eli once again on ESPN2. Texans and Cowboys. There was a little bit of a fight last night at Jerry World, right?
There was.
I didn't watch it.
It's a little spectacle at AT&T Stadium. Let's just say the final fight was not the best fight of the night.
Yeah. I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan still. The 25-year-old Mike.
The old Mike. Yeah, that guy ain't walking through the door no more. Both of these teams exchanging punches, much like the women's fight before the Tyson-Paul fight.
Keep an eye on that guy. He has returned 2 kicks for touchdowns this year. Keelan Marion trying to get the crowd amped up at 1:46 to go. And this will come out 1st and 10. You know, we talked about the great coaches around the Big 12 Conference, a couple on the sidelines here. Here's the way the Big 12 media predicted the top coaches. But look at number 15. They had Coach Prime at 15, Kenny Dillingham at 16. Those 2 guys have their teams in the thick of it right now. And they had Kalani Sitake at 11. They can get a do-over somewhere in the next year maybe, because they missed on that one.
I'm not sure why you do that to yourself and rank coaches. You're one good season away from looking like you don't know what you're talking about.
Deion Sanders at 15, really? Nice run by Jake Retzlaff. J.B. Brown made the hit, and hey, here's why those guys really missed on those predictions, because look where Colorado is, 6-1. Look where Arizona State is, 5-2. Look where BYU is at the top, 6-0 for the supposed 11th best coach in the conference. Retzlaff throws a dart into Kansas territory to Chase Roberts, and Retzlaff was favoring his arm a moment ago. A 16-yard pickup, and yeah, you see him cradling that left arm of his.
It looks like that shoulder is what he's grabbing.
Wow. We'll keep an eye on that. Got Q on the sidelines. Man, he threw an out to the wide side of the field to Marion, Roddy, and a 1st down.
He's got great arm strength, does Jake Retzlaff. And that's a big boy throw. From the right hash to the left sideline on a rope.
16-yard pickup. BYU with all 3 of its timeouts remaining.
Chunk plays. Now they are just shy of the 30-yard line. The great opportunity to get points, maybe even a touchdown before half.
See the great chemistry he has with Chase Roberts. The 2 of them trained together in Southern California this past summer in Huntington Beach. Retzlaff got rid of it just in time. Came underneath that time to L.J. Martin. A 1-yard gain on the play. Let's take a look at how he was shaken up. At the end of this run, look how he lands.
Yeah, awkwardly. That elbow going down, the pressure.
Timeout.
Elbow
BYU,
and shoulder.
Their first of the half. 30.
It was great speaking with him yesterday at the football offices when we asked him about the unique nature of the team. He said, Mark, we just have a special chemistry about us this year. And, you know, other players that we had a chance to meet with talked about how, like Coach Sitake says, like trying to describe the taste of salt to people. How do you describe it to them if they don't taste it themselves? You have to pretty much taste it for yourself and be there.
This is a team that feels so well connected, and a lot of it has to do with what they went through together last year, and then the attitude that Jake Retzlaff has brought to that quarterback position. I mean, this is a team that is very well aware of where they were picked in the Big 12 media, where they were picked to finish. Very well aware of what the odds makers think of their odds the rest of the way, and they play like it.
It's a unique team in so many ways. Retzlaff, the first Jewish quarterback at BYU, and he takes off on the run to pick up the 1st down. A nice sprint by Retzlaff to move the chains with a minute to go in the half. And he's going to spike it to stop the clock. Got 2 timeouts remaining.
Both times they've run this speed option, you've had the end for Kansas over pursuit of the outside, opening up a gaping hole for Jake Retzlaff to cut up on. It looks like Kansas has coached their guys, hey, we want to keep the quarterback contained from getting out on the perimeter, keep from getting that ball pitched. But it's created an alley for Retzlaff to run through twice now on this drive.
First down and 10, 58 seconds to go in the first half. Retzlaff comes underneath with it to his tight end. Tasse down inside the 5-yard line. They're going to spot it at the 5. First and goal. A 16-yard gain.
A little delayed release by the tight end. And Matava Tasse gets the ball inside the 5-yard line, as you said.
Retzlaff into the end zone. Picked off. He went at the wrong guy. The mellow fellow Dotson. Mellow Dotson snuffs the drive with a big pick in the end zone. That's his 5th one of the season, and that's why he's all Big 12 conference.
This BYU coaching staff talked to us about the corners for Kansas doing a great job being physical, forcing receivers wider than they want to be. It felt like with that throw, Retzlaff expected Tasse to be further inside. Either way, that throw has to be out towards the sideline or more or further up the field toward the back pylon. But Mello Dotson just does a great job of forcing the receiver that way, so the throw ends up inside. And he's able to make the pick. Ultimately, though, that wasn't as much what Mello Dotson did. It's a poor throw by Retzlaff, leading the ball too far inside, and Mello Dotson picking it off.
And ironically, one of the biggest improvements by Retzlaff this year is him and his ability to take care of the football. He's cut down on his turnovers from a season ago, but you can see the disgust etched across his countenance right there. Clock running with 15 seconds to go in the first half. That was the first turnover of the football game. We're tied at 10, and that's going to be the way that we go into the locker room at halftime. BYU 9-0 overall, 6-0 in Big 12 conference play, and that's the end of the first half. What could have been, perhaps, for the Cougars to end that second quarter. The good news is they'll have the football to receive in the second half. Lexus halftime coming up right after the break. ESPN College Football, presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. Folks, this is the Big 12 Conference on ESPN under the lights at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Right now we're deadlocked at 10 as BYU tries to remain perfect. Keep in mind that this is not the first time they've started 9-0. And all around the state of Utah, they're conjuring up thoughts and images of that magical 1984 year. Where's the beef? Some say the meat is in the perfection. A bit windy, but the Cougars' first time since that 84 intersection. Let's run it back. In 24, you get it? I'll be back is the refrain that will fit it. 84, we found out rain was purple in Dove's Cry. There were some cheers and also Magnum P.I. LaVell Edwards orchestrated an Olympian effort in 84. Kalani Sitake spouting 40 years later. Let's be unblemished once more. Tracking in the right direction. Trying to hit the refresh button on that 1984 National Championship magical season. And it's going to be these two guys that will have to lead them there. Kalani Sitake, head coach, and quarterback Jake Retzlaff, who threw an interception to end that first half. They'll have the football here in the second half, taking on Kansas and looking to atone for a defeat at the hands of the Jayhawks last year in their first ever Big 12 conference game in Lawrence. And that guy right there is one of the most lethal kickoff returners in the country of late. Keelan Marion has returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns this year, most recently last week against Utah. He'll get a chance. And he's going to be brought down at about the 17-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from there. Mark Jones alongside Roddy Jones, Quinn Kesnick down in the field. A chilly night. We got our coats on. Yeah,
we've avoided the gloves so far, but they're coming.
Roddy, tell us about that last drive and how they bounced back and what went wrong on that previous drive.
Well, it's such a low possession game that every possession is magnified, and BYU did a nice job of driving all the way down the field. Jake Retzloff was doing it with his legs and with his arm. Then on the last drive, just a bad throw. Leaves a fade ball inside, can't do that. Mello Dotson has an easy pick. Jake Retzloff knows it. But only 4 possessions for each team.
That pass tipped and almost picked off. Mello Dotson, who had the interception in the end zone that we just looked at a moment ago under Roddy's analysis, almost picked that one off too. He laid out, but couldn't quite get there. It'll be 2nd down and 10. That ball appeared to be tipped at the line of scrimmage.
This is a BYU team that has thrived in winning the turnover margin. They've lost it 1 time this year in that Oklahoma State game, and through 1 half they are behind in the turnover margin. Jake Retzloff, with the exception of that interception, played really well in the first half.
Pulls it out of Martin's gut, completes the pass to Chase Roberts, and Roberts picks up the first down. Taylor Davis pushed him out of bounds. Pickup of 11 on the play. Chase Roberts, the leading receiver for the Cougars, coming into the game with almost 600 yards receiving on the season. Had a great meeting with him yesterday. Remembers last year playing against several of the same players here for Kansas. Roberts will split out to the right of quarterback Jake Retzloff. After all that window dressing and movement, Roddy, L.J. Martin picks up 7 yards. Let's go down to Q. And what did Coach Sataki have to say?
We got to be more assignment sound on defense. Really bemoaning that 4th down completion to Luke Grimm on the near sideline. He also pointed to his offense. You know, the bread and butter has been the intermediate passing game. 10 to 20-yard completions, some long comebacks. We only saw 1 of those in the first half. News item for Kansas. Wide receiver Lawrence Arnold is out for the remainder of the game, coming into this game with 23 catches. He will not return.
2nd down and 3. Keep it on the ground. This is going to be Rapati. Rapati is going to pick up the first down, or at least be very close to it. Gain of 3 on the play. Marvin Grant made the tackle. It's going to be a first down for BYU. We talked about the confidence of Jake Retzloff. He remembers earlier this season going down to Central Florida and how they were underdogs in that game. And a lot of the people that picked some of the predictions and finishes didn't think that BYU would be where they are right now. He said, guys, they think I'm the worst quarterback in the Big 12. Using that as motivation, hands it off to Rapati. Couldn't square those shoulders. Picks up about 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Dream Robinson making the tackle.
Jake Retzloff is a guy who has a chip on his shoulder the size of the mountains off in the distance.
Yes.
And he's obviously aware of all the talk around this BYU program and what people thought coming in of him and of this program. So, and based on his story, 0 offers coming out of high school, JUCO player at 2 different JUCOs, that interception in the first half, certainly not going to faze him.
On 2nd and 8, looking to pass. Completes it down to the 44-yard line. It is tight end. Swanson makes the catch. It sets up a 3rd down.
BYU only had 4 third downs in the first half. Converted on 2 of those. And Jake Retzloff's ability to buy time and then scramble are huge here. But BYU will also throw a little option if you give them the right look on these 3rd downs as well.
Rapati in the backfield. He gets the call between the tackles, picked up enough for the first down, a 5-yard gain. We talked about Retzlaff being the first Jewish quarterback ever to play at this school. Here's what he had to say about his rather unique nickname.
BYU is awesome because it puts together BYU and Jew together, which should not be together in any way whatsoever, but it is because of football and because of me and where I'm at. So I just want to employ everybody to say it. Say it all you want.
Jake with a very effusive personality. And those t-shirts are selling pretty well too. Nice catch by Tase. Q has more.
Yeah, he's had rabbis from Canada, Kansas, California, and England seek out that merchandise. And keep in mind, 98.5% of the school here, the students are LDS. There's only 5 Jewish students in the entire school. And Utah as a state, 0.5% Jewish population. So he does stand out in a crowd.
2nd down and 9, and Retzlaff trying to atone for that interception that he threw at the end of the first half. Hands it off here to LJ Martin with nowhere to go. He got rocked by Cornell Wheeler, setting up a 3rd down. No gain on the play. You know, just to put a period on that point, Kalani Sitake talked about BYU and how they've continued to diversify the types of people that they bring into the program. Bringing in many more African Americans over the years, and talked about the extreme benefit that it's had to the program. Getting different views and different talents. It's got him at 9-0 right now. 10th play of the drive. Retzlaff, there's that option you talked about, Roddy. Martin is going to be knocked out. Let's see where they spot this. Last time we misspoke, and they got a very favorable spot. They're going to spot this short by about a yard. Taylor Davis made the stop. 8-yard gain.
This one, you
don't want to say anything.
I don't. because that one to me looked more like a first down than the one that was called a first down early in the game. That sets up a 4th and short. BYU leaving the offense on the field.
LJ Martin is the back in the pistol. He's carrying 225 pounds straight ahead. He's going to pick up the first down. Got about 3 on the play, and the Cougars hang on to the football.
It's a really good run by LJ Martin. Physical. They get him going downhill. Alex Reich had an opportunity at him in the backfield, but the 6'2", 225-pound back is able to get the first down.
10 rushes for a total of 61 yards. And they're devouring a lot of clock here on this opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Rapati back in the backfield for LJ Martin. Retzlaff pulls it out. And he's going to be brought down at about the 41-yard line. Robinson there along with Woodkey and Petrus. 2-yard loss on the play.
This is your pass midfield. You get the first down, and it's shot territory. BYU tries to take one. Good coverage down the field allows the pressure to eventually get to Jake Retzlaff as he climbs the pocket.
They spot the ball at the 41. 2nd down and 12. Blitz coming. He got rid of it ahead of it. And a first down, Marion. Keelan Marion, the UConn transfer. Picked up 17.
It's a really nice RPO. You see the safety sprinting towards the middle of the field, which lets you know, here's the safety up here. It lets you know that run support is coming down. You've got numbers on the back end. Jake Retzlaff pulls it, throws it down, and gets the first down.
Keeps it on the RPO this time and picks up 3 yards. Marvin Grant made the tackle on the play. Second down coming up, and Retzlaff was quick to say that the poise that he takes into the pocket there is a byproduct of his offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, Aaron Roderick, who's also very stoic. We got a shot of him up in the booth a little bit earlier tonight. This is the 15th play of the drive for BYU.
It's starting to feel like they're going to take up the whole quarter with the football.
Under 6 minutes. 2nd and 8. RPO into the boundary, nowhere to go. LJ Martin run out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Picked up about 2 on the play.
They have liked these multiple back sets. 2 backs in the backfield, that time 3 backs in the backfield.
What does that do to the defense?
Go full on triple option. Well, it keeps you guessing. Do you match a bigger personnel group with bigger players on the field, take off a defensive back, have 3 linebackers on? But they've shown so many different pictures. So you can have 3 backs and still make it look like it's 4 wide receivers by having guys split out. So it's kept Kansas on their heels.
3rd down and 6. Jayhawks trying to get off the field. Here's the option again. Retzlaff going to be stopped up short of the first down, right in the middle of the field by about 3 yards. Jareem Robertson, player who sets high goals for himself, made the tackle on the play. There he is, number 90. So 4th down and 3, and it looks like the offense is going to remain on the field. The analytics say 4th and 5 or less to go for it.
They are going to drain this clock down. I wonder if they're going to take a timeout. Still in the huddle. The play clock's at 10 seconds. They're going to have to hurry.
Now up to the line of scrimmage. 6 on the play clock. And now they're going to burn one of their timeouts. They've got 2 remaining. Kalani Sitake going to strategize on the sidelines. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, the snow stopped a couple of hours ago here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. Hey, this season, Allstate will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. As the Cougars bring out the field goal unit, Kalani Sitake invoked the name of his former coach, Lavelle Edwards, when we met with him, saying that he would be proud of this year's team. The field goal is going to be good from 35 yards out by Will Farron to give them a 3-point advantage with 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Efforting a 10-0 start. Back after this. You're watching ESPN College Football presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. The Cougars taking a 3-point lead by virtue of that field goal a moment ago. 4:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. Mark Jones, Roddy Jones. What do you got there?
We've got something for you. It's your birthday. Maybe not on the East Coast anymore.
Ambush, man.
We got you a Cougar tail. With the 60th happy birthday, partner.
Oh, come on, go. Man. You trying to give me diabetes?
I mean, you know, win in Rome. You do as the Romans. Win in Provo, you Cougar tail. Happy birthday, partner.
I appreciate you, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
You going to go for it?
I'm going to eat some of this Cougar tail, and because that's what they do out there in the stands up here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. But I'm not ready to give back my entire 3-mile run and workout this morning. So this is what it looks like. Yeah.
Those Cougar tails have to be shared, Mark. You can't hog that whole thing.
Hey, flip that 6 and that 3 around. It's the other way, yeah. Oh, that's the number right there, folks. Back in a minute. Welcome back, everyone, to Provo, Utah. 4:30 to go after that time-consuming opening drive to start the 3rd quarter by the Cougars, which resulted in a field goal.
How about that? In Kansas, only 27 plays in the first half. This will be their first play of the 2nd half. Here we are with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. That clock-consuming drive by BYU ate up 2/3 of the 3rd quarter.
Neal's going to get the carry. Cut it north-south and picked up about 7 yards. Roddy, I want to ask you this. The opposing coaches say that Neal stays square in the hole, so it makes it difficult to get a shot on him. How important is that, and what does that look like when a guy's staying square in the hole?
Well, if you watch Devin Neal's shoulders, he's always pointing towards the line of scrimmage, towards that offensive line, which gives you a two-way go left or go right with quickness, and he's patient in the backfield, so he has great vision to be able to find those holes.
Daniels looking to pass. Scrambling, now going to take off and slide in for the first down. He started his slide apparently right around that marker, and it might not be enough for the first down. You see the look of amazement on his face. So spotting the ball has been quite a variance today.
That one, I do agree with the spot of that one. It's where the quarterback starts his slide, and it did appear that he started it short.
Matt Austin, what do you think about this?
I agree with Roddy. When the hips begin to drop, that's the dead ball spot. So I think he was short. I think it was a good spot.
So it sets up 3rd and 1. He'll get enough this time. Neal on the carry picks up the first down. Got about 2.5. Roddy asked you about staying square in the hole. This is it, right?
So he's got the ability. Here's where he's square, where those shoulders are pointing towards the line of scrimmage. And then when you're able to do that, you can make a move on a linebacker so he's not able to get a good hit on you. When you have these shotgun runs where you start going laterally, it's really important to get those shoulders back square towards where you're going, towards the offensive line, so that you have that ability to make people miss.
Daniel's going to take off and tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a loss of 3. Raider DeMooney knifing in there to make the tackle from a strong safety spot. Approaching 2 minutes to go now in this 3rd quarter.
We mentioned this a second ago, but Kansas was 1 for 5 on 3rd down in the first half. Only one of those was less than 5 yards. This is a really important play for BYU defensively. Kansas so good at converting 3rd and shorts, but if you get them past that, not nearly as successful.
Daniels gets it out quick, wide open in the flat. And his main man is going to turn it up. Luke Grimm converts that on the catch and sprint into a first down. 17-yard pickup. Roddy, he went in motion and nobody was there.
It's the second time they've just completely lost Luke Grimm. One was on the 4th down conversion in the first half. That one, as you said, he went in motion and continued wide towards the sideline. No one bumped out with him. Easy pitch and catch.
He's got over 500 yards receiving on the season. 1:15 to go in the 3rd. On the Cougars side of midfield, Daniels with time overshoots his receiver at the 25. That one wasn't close. Intended for Cardell. It's up 2nd down and 10.
And he knows it right away that it was a little high. How did I miss that? The answer is you throw a lot of those routes to receivers, and a taller, a little faster receiver probably gets to that. Not Trevor Cardell, the tight end, not quite able to get there.
2nd and 10. On the draw, that's Highshaw Jr. Going to pick up 2 yards on the play, setting up a 3rd down and long.
There's a little confusion in the backfield. It looked like which way the handoff was supposed to go. But BYU ultimately gets this Kansas team in a 3rd and long, 3rd and 8. This is 4-down territory if you're Kansas, so you don't need it all on this 3rd down. You just need a positive gain. You want to try and get it to a much more manageable 4th down.
That's what's at stake for the Jayhawks. They got to win out to become bowl eligible. Daniels has a man open for the first down again. That's Casey, and they move the chains. And again, the ability of the Jayhawks to convert on 3rd down is paramount and clutch. They get 14.
It's a great job by this Kansas offensive line and running backs of picking up the blitz coming from the left side of the screen. they're able to give Jalen Daniels enough time to work from the right back to the left, where Jared Casey found some space. And yes, sir, point it. First down.
It's the end of the third quarter.
The Jayhawks opening drive, first possession of the third quarter, ends with them starting to threaten when we come back for the final 15 minutes. Cosmo up there on top of the world, dancing to the beat. His team up by 3. But a little bit earlier, it was rough going for one of the top mascots in college football. He got clipped. My man got clipped. He didn't. They got to practice those stunts a little more, Cosmo. Daniels, Neal with the catch. Going to be dragged down for a gain of 1 by Glasker. Yeah, I'm glad Cosmo didn't have to, go to urgent care or anything.
Glad
like that.
Cosmo cleared the protocol if you get up there for the fourth quarter celebration. That's how it goes. So sometimes you win, sometimes you get knocked on the head a little bit.
Hey man, it's been an unblemished season at 9-0 for BYU. Trying to keep it that way. They went right down to the wire last Saturday against their crosstown rival Utah. Daniels over the middle, and it's almost picked off. Glasker had his hands on it momentarily. 3rd down and 9.
And Jalen Daniels missed a wide open receiver. He had Jared Casey wide open to the field had he decided to go that way. Goes to the boundary, incomplete pass, and now a big 3rd and 9. In such a low possession game, these types of downs are magnified.
Roddy, this is the 11th play of the drive for the Jayhawks. Devin Neal in the backfield. They pick up the pressure. Daniels steps up into the pocket, brought down to the 37. Tyler Batty and Isaiah Glasker there to make the tackle. And that takes them out of the fringes, it looks like, of field goal range. It would be a daunting field goal.
You get a blitz right up the middle, and the coverage down the field is really what gets Jalen Daniels to pull his eyes down, as well as the pressure. Isaiah Glasker has had a really nice game. Hasn't had to play a lot of plays.
Yeah.
Now 4th down attempt for Kansas.
Keeping the offense on the field after that loss of 5, and now a timeout called by the Jayhawks.
Timeout, Kansas. Their first of the half.
They've got 2 remaining. And that last play really hurt, that loss of 5. We'll be back in a minute. City of Provo, Utah, aglow at night here. On a 28-degree evening. Right now the home team leading by 3, trying to remain unbeaten. One of a select few in the country. 4th down and 14 for Kansas. And a quick punt by Jalen Daniels. They're going to try and pin. Oh, it's loose! It's scooped up by Kansas! A cataclysmic error, or is it? Did it hit the Cougar player first? It may have, which means it's a live ball. The officials will confer here. Quentin Skinner recovered the loose ball downfield. It may have hit a BYU player. Oh yeah. At that point, it's live.
It is. It's live right there. And so you saw a second BYU player try and dive on the football. Yeah, it hits number 21, Evan Johnson, first. If it hit, and let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules expert. If it had hit Quentin Skinner, the Kansas player first, Matt, what would the decision be? What are they talking about here?
Well, if that were the case, then BYU would always have the option to go back to that first touching spot. But since it hit the BYU player first.
The kick was touched by the receiving team and recovered by the kicking team. First down, Kansas.
Yep, they got it exactly right. Since it hit the BYU player, it's a live ball, as Roddy said. So,
wow.
Wow, indeed.
Thanks, Matt. A catastrophic event there for the Cougars, who now have to be backed up at their 3-yard line.
And in a special season like this, the way BYU has lived in these games, it feels like all the breaks have gone their way. Now Kansas is one up in the turnover margin, and then you get that play on the pooch punt by the quarterback. It feels like the luck may be turning.
Cardell sets in the backfield with Devin Neal. Casey in motion, Neal on the carry. Touchdown Jayhawks. They capitalize on that catastrophic event and punch it into the end zone to take the lead. Wow, what a turn of circumstance.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And deafening silence cascading from the stands here at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Jalen Daniels with the pooch punt that results in Kansas football. And they lead it by 4. Just the way Coach Leipold drew it up, right, Roddy?
We were talking about the fact that he burned a timeout before that 4th down play.
Yes.
And if they had punted, why would you burn the timeout? Well, it ends up working. How about Devin Neal?
Wow.
The career that he's put together. Obviously, when you're on a list with Ashton Genty, it's incredible that the productiveness that he's had for the last 4 years for the Kansas Jayhawks.
Doing his little dance, waiting for him to hit the $1 million baby dance. That's his 4th 2-touchdown rushing game this season. And talk about just what a leap of faith it was, Roddy, for him to witness all the consistent losing that Kansas did as he was a high schooler growing up in Lawrence, Kansas, and then to commit to help turn this program around and to see him become the school's all-time leader in rushing yards and then have his team go 9-3. They still have a great shot of going to their 4th consecutive bowl game.
They certainly do. I think it's a player believing in the vision of a coach, a player who just puts his head down and does the work. He's a great example, and Lance Leipold and this staff told us he's one of the best dudes on this team, one of the hardest workers on this team as well, and that makes it easy to coach.
From the goal line, Marion going to give it a shot. He's got 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year, but not this time. Brought down at about the 33-yard line. This has been a season of, well, auspicious breaks and circumstances for BYU. So many last-second comebacks and late-game rallies, Roddy.
And that's been part of the magic. They have believed to the very end. Even last week against Utah, you had the holding call that gave them new life. The big pass to Chase Roberts. You get a first down by Hinckley Rapati, and then obviously the game-winning field goal by Will Farron, which has him eating free everywhere in Provo for the rest of his life.
Forever. Retzloff with a clean pocket. That one came out wobbly. Not sure if that was tipped. It was intended for Darius Lassiter. I have to take another look at that because that thing was dead on arrival.
It was. It was a duck out of the hand of Jake Retzloff. See if somebody got a hand on this, or did it just come out weird? Oh, yeah. It looked like it was tipped. No wonder it was such a duck.
And 2nd down and 10. That was Caleb Taylor that got a hand up. Keep it on the ground and nowhere to go that time for L.J. Martin. He's going to be stopped up for a gain of about 1 on the play. It was interesting, Roddy. We saw the highlight of the frenetic comebacks BYU has made this year after that one against Utah last week. Interesting that they had a players-only meeting on Monday, and Kalani Sitake told us that they just flushed it out. And the players told us they just had to say, you know what, it was a great win, time to move on.
It was such an emotional thing that happens. And look, Chase Roberts told us a lot of guys from Utah, that is their Super Bowl. It's a big third down.
Retzloff, stepped up into pressure and incomplete. His receiver got smoked. Big time hit by Marvin Grant on Hill. And Hill is slow to get up.
It was a
timeout for an injury to an offensive player.
Well, BYU's upset about a couple of things. One, there was a flinch by the Kansas defensive line. The question is, were they in the neutral zone when the ball was snapped? In the estimation of the officials, that was not the case. Then on the back end, that is a brutal and vicious hit by Marvin Grant, but by the rules, a clean hit. Yep. Head out of the hit. It's a defenseless player, so it's not forcible contact to the head or neck area. And there was the flinch right there in the middle by number 94, Blake Harold. Apparently just short of the neutral zone. So no free play for BYU.
Yeah, Keanu Hill able to walk off the field under his own strength. The senior from Bedford, Texas, on the season with 102 yards receiving and a touchdown. 4th down and 9.
I mean, that was.
Tell me about those pants.
Are those regulation?
Aren't they supposed to be to the knee?
I mean, those are mediums. I got to get me a pair of those. Show off the quads. What? The knee pads aren't even doing anything. I mean,
what knee pads? They didn't check his uniform. That's for sure. Comes down at the 22 to Grimm. And Grimm brought down immediately. Ender Van Haar. Oh, now he pulled him down. Oh, does he pull him up to put? Well, he's faking it. Oh, you can't fool us now. We caught you. Back after this.
ESPN College Football is presented by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 19 hotel brands, 1 loyalty program. Download the app.
Look at some of the wonderful, courageous, groundbreaking pioneers here at BYU through the years. And Jake Retzloff, the first Jewish quarterback to start at BYU. Kalani Sitake, the first head coach here of Tongan descent. Grimm in motion, 1st down and 10 for the Jayhawks. Daniels on the move. And he's going to pick up about 2 yards on the play. Jack Kelly making the tackle.
Good coverage down the field. BYU really selling out to stop the run on that first play. Kansas decides to come out and throw it. And those defensive backs were kind of on an island, did a great job covering up those receivers.
Kansas very familiar in playing in tight, close games down the stretch. 5 of their 6 losses, we pointed out at the top of the show, have come by 1 score. 2nd and 10, they keep it on the ground with no success. Highshaw stopped up behind the line of scrimmage. That's DeMooney. Raider DeMooney out of Provo, Utah. Committed to BYU as an 8th grader. His father Jack, former fullback here at BYU.
It's a big 3rd down. The go-to receivers for BYU are number 0, Quentin Skinner, and number 11, Luke Grimm. Grimm in motion, and Skinner in the slot.
The blitz coming. Daniels off his back foot into traffic, caught miraculously by Skinner, using all of that angular 6'5" frame to pick up 22 yards and point them in the right direction.
I'm not sure there was much of a window to throw this ball into, but when you throw it high enough, where only your 6'5" receiver can get it, I guess it doesn't matter much. And look, these are the types of plays that have gone BYU's way this year. They've been able to come down with those interceptions. Jalen Daniels has faith in his receiver, and his receiver repays him.
Roddy, it just feels like the Jayhawks wait until 3rd down to make things happen. Option into the wide side of the field. Nowhere to go that time for Devin Neal. Jacob Robinson came up on his assignment for run support and did a nice job there, Roddy.
He certainly did, and it was forced on the perimeter by Robinson back to Isaiah Glasker, who was out there as well. I think Jalen Daniels kind of got caught in between and just kicked it out to his running back. But BYU's done a good job of getting Kansas into 2nd and 3rd and longs. They just haven't been able to get off the field, with the exception of the one that ended in a 4th and 14 in the pooch punt.
Devin Neal, 11 rushes for about 43 yards so far. Another unorthodox formation here. Neal on the jet sweep. Didn't really have numbers. Harrison Taggart making the tackle and a gain of just a few yards on the play. Maybe got 2. That was some real funky looking formation, Roddy.
It's the 2nd time we've seen a formation like that with the offensive lineman split out. Jalen Daniels is sending the offensive lineman out to the right. You got 2 tight ends to the left of the center. And BYU snuffed it out. The thing is, though, after being 1 for 5 in the first half on 3rd downs, Kansas 3 of 4 in the second half, including those 3rd and long conversions. Again, 11 and 0 to go-to receivers. Luke Grimm once again in motion.
Daniels pulls, incomplete, and is it intercepted? Yes, it is. Collins with the INT. Second interception of the year for Collins.
Was trying to go to Luke Grimm up the sideline. Thinks Grimm is going to stop near the sticks, but he throws it, and how about the Mark Collins toe tap? The awareness to know where you are relative to the sideline, able to get both feet down, and 17 interceptions on the season now for this BYU defense. That one on a miscommunication between receiver and quarterback.
So BYU with good starting field position for this drive at their own 42. Down by 4 points. Little jet sweep action. Marion still on his feet. Broke a tackle and picked up the 1st down. About a 12-yard gain on the play. Keelan Marion, transfer from UConn. We got a flag.
Offside. Defense, number 99, line up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. The result of play is a 1st down.
Penalty declined. Nose of the ball resting at the 46 of Kansas.
1st and 10 Cougars.
Martin in the backfield. It's going to be Martin trying the left side of the offensive line with no success. Taiwan Berryhill Jr. making the tackle. What an SEC on ABC college football lineup we have for you next Saturday. Number 11, University of Mississippi squaring off against Florida at noon Eastern. Then it's the Lone Star State for number 3 Texas hosting Kentucky. And we cap off the night with number 10 Alabama and Oklahoma. What a football lineup on ABC and ESPN+.
How about Florida getting a big win today over LSU at home? Week after Billy Napier, a vote of confidence was given to him by Scott Strickland, the athletic director, saying he'll be back for 2025.
Retzloff slings it in and out of the hands of Marion. Literally hit him in the hands, and he and looks like Marvin Grant having some spirited conversation.
A sidearm delivery by Retzloff. And yeah, that's one of those that you you know you got to bring in as a receiver, even when it's cold and you can't feel your hands and the ball is hard. Big third down here.
They're 3 of 8 on third downs tonight. Retzloff has not completed a pass on third down tonight. Rolls left, pulls. Boy, you'd have to be 8'12" to catch that one. And there's nobody like that on the field. Keanu Hill was the closest receiver. And you could hear the thud down on the field amongst the silence as 4th and 10 comes up.
So Kansas's defense with a big win after the turnover. You're able to force a punt. BYU will flip the field, but you just wonder, 7:17 left. How many possessions are left in the game for each team? Each one of them becomes more and more magnified.
9-0 perfect record on the line. Vanderhaar. Punt comes down at the 13 to Grimm. It'll be 1st and 10 from there for Jalen Daniels and Kansas. Trying to recreate what happened back in 1984 if you're BYU. It's going to be tough tonight, though, under the lights. They're down by 4.
All these years, it's been wonderful to be on the one and only BYU football team to ever go 13-0. And now you guys are on the home stretch of maybe doing it too. And you know what? We love it. Come join us up here. The weather is awesome.
So Trevor's not like that 1972 Dolphins gang that pop champagne every time the current Dolphins lose a game. Grimm on the receiver screen, got a good block out front, and Grimm weaving his way through defenders and traffic to pick up the first down for the Jayhawks. Right now, BYU's opportunities looking grim for victory here tonight, down by 4. 10-yard gain by Luke Grimm.
I see what you did there.
Hey. I'm going to be honest on this one. Producer Kim Belton put that one in my ear. Feed me some bars. 1st and 10. Neal. Boy, that is a picture-perfect Devin Neal run. That's what he's been doing for 4 years in Lawrence, Kansas.
It's just the ability to make those little moves to get past. And how about the tearaway? I mean, bringing back the tearaway shirt.
And he just went over 4,000 yards rushing for his career.
Congratulations to Devin Neal.
And the meter is still running, invariable and inexorable in his approach and his production. 2nd down and 3. It's Neal time again. Trying to move the pack. He'll pick up about 1.5 yards. Tyler Batty was there. Is it just me, or has Batty's name been a little bit conspicuous by its silence tonight?
He had some impact in the first half, but in the second half, it has been a little more quiet. This is a huge third down, though, because if Kansas is able to convert, you have to imagine they'll take off another 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes off the clock.
Right.
If you're BYU and you don't come up with this, you might only get one more chance with the football.
3rd down and 2. Trying to get the defense off the field. Daniels running. He's going to be short. Stopped up after a gain of maybe 1. It'll be 4th and 1.5 yards. And that's the guy we were talking about, Tyler Batty, who had his hat knocked off. Actually, no, it was Mangelson that did.
Batty
in on the tackle.
It was the two of them that combined for the tackle. Getting off blocks on the line of scrimmage on that defensive line, getting down the line, able to tackle Jalen Daniels.
How big is that stop, Roddy?
Oh, it's huge. Well, the clock's not there. It is. The clock's running again. It's huge because I think Kansas would have taken off another, close to 2 minutes had they not been able to get it.
On 4th and 1. Graves punting. Drives it all the way back to the 20-yard line. Parker Kingston called for the fair catch, and boy, they flipped the field pretty well with that punt.
They did. He's a little frustrated.
Yes.
He catches the punt, and then you look down, and there's 2 Kansas defenders lying on the ground in front of you. But when you have to make that decision, you don't know those 2 guys are going to fall, so makes the safe play. But, again, Kansas have been able, and BYU, they both have been able to put together long drives.
Right.
So if you're not able to get points on this drive, you are really putting a lot of pressure on your defense to get off the field. But this is where Jake Retzloff has come up big for BYU this year and got to have at times.
LJ Martin in the backfield. Marion in motion to the top of your screen. Retzloff looking to pass. It's caught. Chase Roberts hung on to it. Wow, what a grab. Took a hit, too, to pick up 12. Got to see this again, Roddy.
It's a window the size of a keyhole. It's in the hands of the linebacker, Cornell Wheeler, right into the gut of Chase Roberts. What concentration and strength to bring that ball in by Roberts.
Sets up first down and 10. BYU with timeouts remaining. On the jet sweep, Marion cuts it north-south and picked up about 3.5 yards. Wheeler making the tackle on the play. Remember, Kansas has those 2 all-conference DBs in Mello Dotson, who has an interception already tonight, and Kobe Bryant, who's got 4 interceptions on the season. But BYU strategized that they might choose to work the middle of the field instead. They go empty. 5 receivers on this formation. There's the middle of the field. There's the completion. And it's Chase Roberts. Picked up 24.
They move Chase Roberts to the slot, and he gets matched up against the safety, Marvin Grant. It's covered, too, so the middle of the field wide open. You can see Grant's got inside leverage, but he lets Roberts cross his face, gets into the middle where there's nobody there. Retzloff delivers. Chase Roberts told us he prides himself in making big plays, and this is clutch time. Number 2 has come up with 2 big catches.
From the 40, first down and 10. Martin in the backfield, takes the handoff, cuts it back. Got a lot of real estate out there, and it's going to be pushed out of bounds right near for the, actually got the first down, picked up 11. And Caleb Etienne looked like he got in the way and gave him a good block to spring him loose. So they continue to move the ball downfield. There's Etienne.
Etienne's going to be on the right side of your screen. Here's the block right here. Nice job against the defensive end who ducks inside. You seal him in there. Running back bounces outside. He's able to get a big gain.
They hand it off. Rapati got a hole. And another first down on a 13-yard gallop.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
We're at the 2-minute timeout as BYU hopes to remain perfect. They trail by 4 when we come back for the finish. There's the Taco Bell Live Más student section all season long. Student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. 17-13, Kansas leading BYU. First down and 10 for the Cougars at the Kansas 15. They hand it off to LJ Martin, and he picks up about 3. Now, how does Kansas manage its timeouts here, Roddy?
So Lance Leipold just called its first. I think.
Timeout. Kansas, their second of the half. 30 seconds in length. Please set the game clock to 1:56, please.
I agree with the taking of the timeout. What you're protecting against with the timeout, with BYU running the ball, is, let's say they score on the next play. You don't want to have had 40 seconds run off the clock. You want to save yourself as much time in the event that they do indeed score a touchdown. And taking those timeouts doesn't help BYU very much. They've got 2 timeouts. You've got, they can get a first down, and then you'd be inside the 5-yard line. They've got plenty of time to do what they need to do.
Next is SportsCenter, Stan and Steven Nelson. A massive primetime SEC matchup. Georgia avoids a 3rd loss with the Vols in town, plus important Saturday in college football playoff picture. Our expert tells you what to expect come Tuesday. And heavyweight champ John Bones Jones puts his belt on the line against Miocic. SportsCenter with Stan and Steven coming up next right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. The jet sweep goes to Ropati with nowhere to go. They stuff it right near the line of scrimmage. So 3rd down coming up. And we have another timeout called by the Jayhawks. They burned their last one. BYU, conversely, with 2 remaining. So and see what you're talking about there now with the timeout management.
And because BYU has those 2 timeouts, running the ball is still on the table. If you get a look that's conducive to running the football, you can still do that. And on the opposite side for Kansas, you're talking to your team about all the things that are in the scouting report, those little tips and reminders that you go through on a Thursday or a Friday and walk through, and preparing them to play 2 downs, reminding them, hey, look, they got to have a touchdown. So no matter what happens on this 3rd down, we're going to play another.
And now let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by Prudential. There's the top 12.
You wonder
Oregon
how far
had a tough one today at Wisconsin.
Yeah, they did. They scraped by there, were sort of bailed out at the end. You wonder how far Tennessee is going to drop. Now, with their 2nd loss, first one on the road at Arkansas, this one to Georgia, in a game that was closer than the score at the end, but Georgia I think they punched their ticket to the CFB. Yeah, I mean, they could lose one of their last 2. I believe they've got an FCS game and then Georgia Tech.
So here we go on 3rd down and 6. They've got to get to the 5-yard line to pick up the first down. Kansas is out of timeouts. BYU trying to remain undefeated.
Check at the line of scrimmage.
Retzloff with the audible. They option it into the boundary and nowhere to go. They're going to be stuffed way short of the first down. Hinckley or Ropati had nowhere to go. Dotson with great run support off the corner, and Dean Miller also there. 4th down, they'll go for it, of course, here.
Aaron Roderick, the offensive coordinator, told us this is as many checks as he has had in the game plan this year. And Jake Retzloff at the line of scrimmage, you can hear him say, kill, kill, kill. That means they went from whatever the original play call was to that speed option. Kansas sniffs it out, and now 4th down for the game.
Their perfect season on the line. Boiling down to this play. And we're going to have a procedure penalty.
I think BYU had the look that they wanted to. Chase Roberts matched up against a safety that was about 10 yards off.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down. This foul includes a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 56 seconds, and it'll start on my signal.
So they'll run it down to 56 seconds, the mandatory 10-second runoff in this kind of scenario.
That's one of those everybody but the center deals.
Look like it. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown by getting to the 5-yard line. And the clock will start. For a perfect season. Caught, but short of the first down. And that'll do it. The Jayhawks hold. Roberts made the catch, but he's short of the first down. Kansas takes over on downs. And BYU's unblemished 9-0 season in peril right now in a huge way.
this entire season, it's felt like BYU has been able to find the play when they've needed it down the stretch. They found the completion, but about 1.5 yards short, more like 2 yards short of what they needed to get there. Pressure by Kansas in the face of Retzlaff made him get rid of the ball probably earlier than he wanted to, but a big time play by that Kansas defense.
For a team in Kansas that has had 5 of its 6 wins be just 5 of 6 losses, 1-score losses. This would be huge. Daniels takes the snap, then takes the knee. And BYU is going to burn one of its timeouts. Let's take a look at the Now What moments brought to you by Prudential. It was the pivotal and critical moment. The pooch punt on 4th down by Jalen Daniels that bounced off the BYU defender's helmet and ultimately ended up in Kansas' hands. That led to this touchdown run in the ensuing sequence by Devin Neal, and that was the tipping point of the game in the Jayhawks' favor. Like I said, it's gone the other way so many times against them, Roddy. Not this time.
It has, and then think back to the end of the first half. They have a great drive on the 5-yard line, and Jake Retzlaff throws an interception on a poorly thrown fade to the inside. I mean, they certainly would have had 3 points in that situation, maybe even a touchdown. So, as you said, the things that have gone BYU's way this year just have not gone their way today. Now Kansas has an opportunity to kneel the ball out. BYU one more time out, but it won't really matter.
Jalen Daniels. They tried to strip him with a football. That's a little risky. You might want to take that knee a little quicker.
Well, he's trying to get the ball under 40 seconds or around that 40-second mark, waste as much time as he could so that he can take another quick knee here and the game be over. There not have to be a 4th down play.
There's only 4 undefeateds, and that could change if the score doesn't change here in the next 39 seconds. You know, one thing you have to give Kansas credit for, knocking off a top 25 team last week against Iowa State and being able to flush that and come here and do what they've done today, 40 seconds away from getting their 4th win of the season, is pretty huge.
It's massive. It's a team that was expected to finish at the top of the Big 12. They started off the season turning the ball over a ton. They've corrected that. It's a really talented team that is hungry and is excited about playing their best ball when it matters the most. Now, if you're Jalen Daniels, all you have to do is snap the ball, hit a knee. Do not take a step back. Take a knee right where you receive the football and get out of this with a win.
He's on the 2-yard line. Got to get that knee down quick. They push him forward, and that might do it. 33 seconds to go. Yeah, you hear them start to celebrate. So for the 2nd consecutive year, Kansas continues to be the bane of the BYU existence. They beat them in their maiden voyage a year ago into the Big 12 Conference, and yeah, the sprinkler starts for Jalen Daniels and Kansas. They do it again in back-to-back seasons and now earn their 4th win of the season next week. A huge one for the Jayhawks against Colorado. There it goes. BYU suffering its first defeat of the season, falling to 9-1.
Tremendous by this Kansas team to get the win. For BYU, the magic ran out tonight, and they've got a huge one next week. They go on the road to Arizona State, an Arizona State team that's playing great. And so if you're BYU, you don't want the one loss to turn into another that knocks you into a tiebreaker scenario in the Big 12. But for Kansas, bowl eligibility still in play if they can win the last 2 and play spoiler for Colorado.
Let's go down to Q with the leading rusher all time from Kansas.
Devin, congratulations. On a night that you surpassed 4,000 yards, what does this win, what emotions are you dealing with after this win?
I mean, it was really easy for us to give up and quit. early in the season, we're going through our woes. I'm just glad the team stuck together, fought every battle.
Proud of you, boy! I'm proud of you!
And man, what a group of guys, fighting always. And yeah, we couldn't be more blessed.
Coach said it was challenging. It was a little frustrating type of year, but the guys never gave up on each other, and they kept pulling on the rope. What's that been like to be a part of that? Back-to-back weeks now playing spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a special group of guys. It takes special leadership to keep everything in tight in group and just keep focused on the day-to-day. We focus on game by game, and we're just excited to be part of this team, this special team, man.
You got a big one again next week. Buffalo's Colorado. Coach Prime coming to town. How do you characterize what that's going to be like?
Yeah, it's going to be another fantastic battle. I mean, they're a great team. We just got to get back, watch film, learn about them, and obviously soak in this W.
Devin, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mark.
He decided to sign with Kansas after not seeing a lot of winning. In his first year on campus in Lawrence, his team went 2-10. But those strong bonds that they started to build came to fruition last year with 9 wins. 2 more wins, they become bowl eligible. And Devin Neal continues to be a big part of this rebuild. Kansas wins it. SportsCenter's coming up next for Roddy Jones, Quint Kesenick, and our entire crew. I'm Mark Jones. Right now, let's go to SportsCenter. Good night from Provo.